What up, what up? Happy Wednesday, hump day, whatever the kids are saying nowadays. Let's go with another day of reverse flip deal desk. Ooh, we got a bunch of people right off the bat. What up, people? What's going on? Welcome to everybody. Guys, please remember, comments are open. I am looking at them. What that means is if you have a deal in real time that you want me to analyze or run the play, look through, I don't care where it is in America, we will look through it together. I got a couple things I'm going to go over today. First one is a deal that was submitted by someone in our community. It's not going to end up being a deal, but I want to show it to you anyway, and I want to show you why it's not a deal, okay? And that is the wrong screen. Hold on. Here we go. 1 second. Let me share. 1 second. You know, it'd be great. The day that I end up becoming really, oh, there we go. All right, cool. All right, you guys should see the right screen, which is the MLS here. And good afternoon from Southeast Michigan. A cold day of 30, 40. Oh, yee, that is cold. Good afternoon, brother. All right, so we're going to look at a few. The first one that we're going to look at is this one in Orlando, Florida. That's Central Florida. Cool. All right, let me get my stuff going on here. So again, guys, what we do here is we review deals live in real time. What we look for, what we don't look for, why they're going to work as deals, why they're not going to work as deals, what we believe we're going to do with them, or deals that we're actually doing in real time, what we're already doing with them, dispoing them, how we got them. I call it running the play, so running the play with them. The reverse flip strategy, which is really just turning dead leads and a lot of leads and deals that nobody else knows how to convert, aka your dead leads, in deals. And we are figuring out and showing you in real time how we actually turn these things into money, or why we walk away from them and we don't do anything with them, and we explain why. Okay, so let's go to the one in Orlando. Here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. What up, Albert? Albert just got a banger of a deal. That's the one that we reviewed yesterday, as a matter of fact, which was awesome. Albert, I already have a couple buyers for your deal, funny enough. I got pinged by the team that there's a couple buyers that already want to buy it. All they got to do is get inside. So, all right, first things first, off the bat, all right, this is a deal that was submitted. I don't like it already because it's listed with a realtor. Just, again, doesn't kill the deal for me automatically, but typically I don't like on-market deals. Realtors make it very difficult. It's also unrealistic expectations. Price is too high, right? There's another party involved, so it's a little bit, difficult sometimes to get a realtor that doesn't understand many things, why we're buying the deed, right? Stuff like that. We've done them. We do them. It's not my favorite, though. You could even see here that the realtor put pre-foreclosure opportunity below appraisal value. Like, what a shitty realtor to say that their seller is in pre-foreclosure right out of the gate. Okay. Seller will credit buyer $10,000 in closing costs, blah, 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 below appraised value. Again, I don't want to buy anything anywhere near the appraised value. Okay. But we're going to run the play nonetheless, and we're going to see why it worked or why it didn't work. Okay. So we got pictures on this one too, so it's pretty good. So let me look through the notes here of what the JV had submitted before, and why he liked it. So it says here there's HOA liens, The seller and daughter aren't very helpful. Not surprised. With the agent, locked it up. County clerk couldn't find anything. David are the owners on title. Father and daughter. Father in hospital. Agent said she lowered her commission to 3% to try to help. They tried to file for an extension, so it's in pre-foreclosure, obviously, but have heard nothing back. And Monday the 19th is a holiday. Sellers have no money to even move out, she said. Perhaps we could give them 3 to 5 for expenses. Seller's daughter's agent told them they have a BK lawyer on bankruptcy, by the way, on standby for Tuesday morning in case. But the agent said, don't count on it. Everyone is just waiting for them. A lot of wholesalers usually offering less than what is owed on the final judgment. The sellers are tired of this. Okay, cool. So the first thing I want to know is what the equity position is of this house. So I'm going to go through here. Foreclosure judgment entered. So what that means is this foreclosure is so far along that they already have a judgment. Usually what follows a judgment is the scheduling of the auction, okay, which in this case obviously is the reality. Their original mortgage was $239,200. That was back in 2006, okay, at a 6.4% rate. Yay. Okay, and let's look at the property itself. Let's take a, okay, here we go. The house itself looks pretty, clean. I mean, yes, it's dated. Roof looks a little old. But, all in all, it's not like fire damage, right? It's not destroyed. It's certainly livable for sure. Right off of, power lines, and I assume that's a major road. So, just something to point out. Nothing special about this house. Just a cookie cutter Formica kitchen, okay? So, let's dive in and let's look at the docket, okay? So, this is Orlando, which is Orange County. All right. So we're going to go Orange County. Oh, I can't type today, huh? Civil case search. Again, I do the same thing in every county. Why did this pop up? Come on. Orange. Excuse me. All right. My clerk. Here we go. So I don't have the case number, but I do have the owner name, which is David Hendricks. Hopefully that appears. It's a pretty common name. Hopefully that pops up. Hendricks. Here we go. All right. 2022. I'm going to assume this is the one. Homestead residential foreclosure above $250,000. Reopened with a modification. Okay, so we're going to click into this case number right here. And it's going to load in a second. Here we go. Guys, this is what's called the docket. All right, why am I looking at the docket? Well, I'm looking at the docket to see if there's a sale scheduled. Timeline. Know how much time I have to work with here. 2, I'm looking to see if there's any equity. I want to see what the final judgment is, okay? So they already filed for BK. They filed yesterday. Suggestion, notice of bankruptcy, and auto stay. So a bankruptcy will automatically cancel or veto any foreclosure sale or anything like that, okay? Just the way the law works. They filed for bankruptcy. If I wanted to look into that, I could just see this. Here it is. David Hendricks filed for BK. Boom, boom. That's going to buy him at least, assuming that he doesn't move forward with the bankruptcy and he doesn't do anything else, that's going to buy him at least 60-ish days. If the bankruptcy is dismissed, which usually is what happens, then the foreclosure starts again from where it last left, which means then probably another 30 days after, a new sale will be rescheduled. So this could go to auction and more than likely will be rescheduled for auction in about 90 to 120 days from today, or from the day that the bankruptcy was filed. Everybody get that? Cool. So here's your final judgment. Let's look at what it says. Boom, boom, bam. 329,000 smackaroos. So Their principal, let me zoom that in for you guys. Excuse me. The principal was $221,000. They stopped paying in October. So here's all the interest accrued. Here's the corporate advances. That means that the bank has been paying the taxes and the insurance. Cool. Here's prior servicer escrow advances. Attorney's fees is $26,000. Yay. So a grand total of $329,000. So guys, that's the first thing I want you to write down, as we always do. We're going to write down debt or final judgment. FDJ is how I write it. Is $329,000. So basically, guys, assuming we give the seller nothing, let's just assume it's nothing. Regardless, we need to see if there's any equity positive above the $329,000. If there is, how much and what's the as is, so we can see if there's a deal to be made. Okay, makes sense to everybody? So $329,000, that's what we're looking for. We don't have to worry about an auction right now because it is stopped. Now, here's an important detail. Because the seller is in bankruptcy right now, they legally cannot sign a deed over to us. That would be a big no-no. Why? Because they're in bankruptcy, so they can't sell their house. That's just the way the law works. So it's a little tricky. Now, could you get a contract? Yes, you can, right? You could get a deed, record it later. Might not be the best thing to do. However, we're going to go check for equity. But just a very important thing to note, okay? We see the condition. We know they owe $329,000. It says under contract, and they're accepting backups. Look, guys, right off the top, right now, there is no equity in this deal for me. Why? The realtor's listed at $399,000. She's pending. But obviously we know, because the JV spoke to her, that buyer's not going to move forward. So from $329,000 to $399,000, nobody even wanted to buy it at $399,000 because she ended up accepting an amount below it. That means that it's so tight. There's nothing for us to do here. I could just tell you that right now, because just walk through the math with me. Let's say the seller gets nothing. Let's round it up to $330,000, right? And let's say we find a conventional buyer, probably going to buy this at $350,000 to $360,000. Okay? So let's go high, right? Let's say it's $360,000. So when I resell it, you guys following me? So $360,000, let's say that's what I resell it for. And let's say I got to pay 5% in commission. All right? That's $15,000. So $360,000 minus 15 minus closing cost, some fees. There's always money to pay. Carrying costs, double closing, whatever you want to call it, doc stamps, etc. We're going to have to spend another like $8,000. That's $337,000. $337,000 is what's going to be the net. $337,000 minus $330,000, which is their all in, gives you what? $7,000. I don't know anybody on this call that wants to do all this work, take all this risk, do all this stuff for $7,000. By the way, if anything goes wrong, and if we're even $5,000 off, this is basically a wash and it's a loss. This is why even at $0, there's nothing to do. The only other thing that I could suggest is you could keep it as a sub 2. The problem with that is that here's the principal balance, here's the interest due. There are about, what's the difference here? There's about $100,000 of arrears, meaning that you would have to come in, somebody would have to come in with $100,000 to bring the mortgage current, and then you could keep this as a sub 2. Also, it sucks as a sub 2 because the interest rate is so high. Okay, so everybody agree with me? Everybody sees why this deal is dead. This is a dead deal. Mrs. Carla, I'm so glad you're doing this breakdown. This is gold. Thank you, Mrs. Carla. I remember you from the challenge. I appreciate that. Carson has one in Michigan. It's cold up there, Carson. Owner died, son somewhere in Tennessee, having trouble getting into court records. Can you help with that? Yes, sir, I can. I'm going to do my best. So let's go to Carson's lead right here. So everybody understand, this one was a dead. Unfortunately, it was a dud. So we're going to go to 6366 Palmyra. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Palmyra Road. Okay. Well, this is always a good sign, right? 100% equity. We're going to see if it's right, but it's always a good sign. Now, Carson is telling me that the owner died. The son is somewhere in Tennessee. He's having trouble getting into county records. Can you help with that? Carson, have you been able to locate the son and speak to the son? There's also no pre-foreclosure, no liens, because I don't think there's a mortgage on this house, Carson. Now, this is going to be a website we're going to use. It's called Net R Online. I've showed this before. This thing, ad blocking detected. If you enjoy your content, I don't know what that means. I don't know what this means. Oh, what do I have? Like an ad blocker? Okay, well, that's fun. Well, let's do this another way. What's the city? Palmyra, Michigan. County. Let's look that up. Lenawee County. God, I'm going to butcher a lot of these names. Lenawee County. And we're going to look up official record search. Let's see, which is the clerk of courts, the register of deeds. Let's see what the deal is here, Carson. Wow, this is definitely a picture from 1980 for Carolyn Bader. That was Carolyn back in 1988. There's no way she looks like that now. Just saying, guys. Just throwing that out there. Geeking out with this deal review. All right, let me... What is going on here? Some of these sites are so old. What's up, Willie? What up? Okay. To apply for concealed pistol, to apply to become a notary. Okay, this is a little harder than what I thought, huh? Well, these guys just don't have an online site, huh? Well, that's awesome. What's Zendesk? This isn't even a public site. How about this? Let's just go here. This is the same site, so now it works. All right. So Lenawee, I can't. That name is gonna bother me the whole day. It's gonna make me laugh the whole day. I buy houses fast, Ohio. All right. How fast? Laughing my ass off. The random shot at Carolyn. Fez, you got to take shots, man. You got to take them. Come on, guys. We got to laugh. I'm watching Stranger Things with my fiance, and if you don't know that show, it's like in the 80s, right? It takes place in the 80s. Carolyn looked like a freaking teacher out of Stranger Things in 1985. That's all I'm saying. Maybe that's why it reminded me of it. So we got Wesley Bauer. All right. We'll copy and paste that sucker, and we're going to go see if that appears. Nope. I think we have to go backwards, and we have to go last name first. And then we're going to do Wesley. Oh, there we go. All right. Mortgage release. So I see a mortgage from 2006 that was released. Hopefully it loads. Oh my God, that is so small, huh? See if I can save this. Wow, this website's old. Download fee is $1. You're kidding. Well, that's crap. Let's see if I can print it. Let me tell you guys something. Why won't it let me just click into this? Well, listen. All I need to know is that the mortgage was released. Okay? $1 download. Yeah. They're making some money up there in Lenawee. Okay? Carson, what I can tell you is you got to find the son. It looks like there's one individual. I don't know if a probate's been opened, but you need to find the son if you feel that that's the next in line, the next heir. This property is free and clear. Easy deal if you could get the son and find out what they want. I love free and clear properties, man. They clearly, you know, it has it has some equity here. So here's another thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just look this up. Let's see what the house itself looks like. Here we go. All right. Cute little, you know, Michigan house. Nice little Michigan neighborhood. I used to process transfer deeds when I lived in Michigan. That county is pronounced Lenawee. Ooh, see, I knew I was wrong. Thank you for that. Thank you. Lenawee. Now I'll know forever. Carson, I'll tell you what my problem is with this deal just right now. This is a very, very rural area. So I don't want anything to do with this deal because finding a buyer for this thing out in Lenawee is going to be really hard considering that this thing is out in the middle of, I don't even know where this, Toledo, Ann Arbor, not like I know Michigan, but yeah, I wouldn't proceed with this deal, Carson, because it's freaking rural and no buyers. So that's a dead deal for me. It would be a good reverse flip deal in the sense that he's saying that the father, who's the person on title, died. It's free and clear, so there's all equity, and the son lives in Tennessee, right? Yeah, it would probably be a good wholesale deal. The problem is, guys, dude, where are you going to find a buyer? Where are you going to find a buyer? You know, if the house is financeable, great. You can slap it on the MLS and you can move it to a conventional buyer. But guys, there's like 20 neighbors around. That's it. And then it's the middle of F'sville. Let's just say there's nothing here. So I don't like it for that reason. If it was anywhere else, I would say that it's pretty good, but not there. Let's move on to another one. And we're going to go to this one, which is in Fort Lauderdale. You're welcome, Carson. We likes to party, okay? So we're going to go to Fort Lauderdale. Here we go. All right. Foreclosure auction. It's active. Somebody listed this for $5,000. I don't know what that means. How would you find the son if you love the deal? Fast People Search, obituary. You could do both. You could also do white pages. I would go through the obituaries. I would find who the relatives are, the next of kin. You could pay a genealogist to do this as well if you want to like really take it a step up. But yeah, Fast People Search works. IDI is what we use. That's a higher level tool. But yeah, there's tons of them. And even in RealFlow, and our new app is going to have relatives and it'll have their contact information. So it wouldn't be hard to do. Would not be hard to do. Now you just got to start calling around. So let me see what the heck this is. It's another deal somebody submitted. Michael McFall. All right. This is going to auction. Clearly. Recording date. Sale date was yesterday. Uh-oh. See what happened here. First thing I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to go to the Broward County civil case search. All right. Why? Because I want to look up the foreclosure and I want to see if the house sold or not. Another thing I'm going to do at the same time is I'm going to go Broward County real foreclose. Boom. We're going to look this up. I have a login. Bam, bam. It's free. Most counties are the same way, by the way. Unless you're in Lenawee, because clearly they charge you money. I'm going to look at the calendar, and I'm going to see if this house sold yesterday or not. What was the address again? 2037. So we're looking for 2037, 2037, 2037. Ah, right here. See what happened? This rescheduled. All right, it got rescheduled for some reason, okay? So now we know it did not sell. Does everybody get that? How did I get there? Let me go back. Let me redo that. We popped it into our app, RealFlow. We looked up the address. I saw immediately the listing. It's active. I see the listing. It says foreclosure auction ends January 20. Okay. Why this realtor listed it for $5,000 is beyond me. But then again, why realtors do half of what they do is beyond me. Foreclosure judgment was entered, and I saw that it says sale date 1/20/2026. Well, today's the 21st. So I said, oh, let me go to the Broward County foreclosure auction, and let me go look at the schedule, the calendar, and see, did it sell or did it not sell? If it sold, then it's a dud, right? We move on, right? Can you check if a BK was filed? Yeah. And we're going to check that in a second. But before we do that, well, actually, we don't even have to look at the final judgment. Here's the final judgment right here. 439,988. I'm going to check for equity real quick. Regardless if there's equity or not, for the concept of just the education perspective, I'm going to show you and go through the docket, and I'm going to look through. I'm also going to show Al if there was a bankruptcy or not. There might have been, there might not, probably was. But I can tell you that the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check if there's equity. Why? We know that the final judgment, meaning what's owed on it, is 439, let's call it 440. So if it's not worth more than 440, we got nothing to talk about. By the way, this is a 3.2, 1,300 square feet. It's going to be really hard pressed to find comps that are higher, like a lot higher than that. I think it's a little tight. So let's look. Okay, these comps are all over because this area it bleeds over to the beach. Yeah, 3.2. Okay. Good. So it's on the good side, so it actually does have equity. Now let's look up. Guys, we have our case number here, right? See that? CAC24. Actually, we're going to grab this whole thing. Boom. Copy, paste. Bam, boom, beam. Here you go, Wells Fargo. Here we go. Disposed by John. All right, so they did not file a bankruptcy. They didn't. They got a motion to cancel, and they got the order approved. So Michael McFall, the cause, defendant's motion to cancel is granted. So it's canceled. Now here's another nugget for you. The next sale date is March 10th, 2026. So now we know, ooh, they do have a timeline. They're going to go to auction again in 2 months. Okay. So this is not a, don't get discouraged and say, oh, well, you know what? Their auction got rescheduled. That means that their motivation's gone. No, couldn't be further from the truth. Now what I would do is, hey, they got a little time out. They got some breathing room. We're going to follow up. I promise you that they will more than likely, unless they make a decision and sell, maybe they sell to you, they're going to fall back in auction. Okay? So I'm just going to look through this, by the way. Foreclosure and taxation. Order. Motion to quash. Being we want deals 50K more, is it worth going after the surplus on those smaller deals? No, sir, it is not. Surplus is highly regulated. We used to do it. Not worth the pain in the ass. They take 6 to 8 months to collect. And in the state of Florida and a lot of states, you can only collect a percentage. So I recommend that you don't do it. That's my opinion. You're more than happy to do whatever you want. Okay, let's go look at what these comps say. I'm actually going to use the MLS for this one, because it's a weird area and it's got comps all over the place. So I just want to be sure. So we're going to look through. Remember, our debt is 449, okay? Remember that. Oh, that's a case number. We're not going to get very far. Here we go. We're going to grab this. We're going to grab that. We're going to do Fort Lauderdale. Boom, boom, bam. Let's make sure. Oh, I remember this deal. Let's make sure that we got the right people. I always click on it. Michael McFall, Heather McFall. See, this is a very, very interesting area. Why? Because houses over here are going for a lot more. They're in the millions, okay? Then houses over here are kind of in the 7s and the millions. Then you have houses on the water. They're in the 2s, the 3s, right? The beach is right here. So you got to be real careful. When I'm running comps on an area like this, I'm going to tell you right now, this is the only comps that I'm going after right here. Nice and tight. We're not going to go anywhere else because this is a weird little pocket. None of these other neighborhoods are going to matter, okay? So remember, we got a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,300 square feet on a dry lot, which means not waterfront. So here we go. I got a 2-2. This is a pool and a waterfront. Not our comp. This is a pool, 4-3, 2,000 square feet. Not our comp. 3-2, 1,600. It has a pool, no waterfront, maybe. And then it drops to a 3-2, 1,359 square feet. This is more our comp than this, but I have a feeling that we're going to end up somewhere between. You also have a 3-2, 1,400 square feet with a pool, no waterfront, price reduced down from $798. You got another price reduction, another price reduction. I'm not going to care about these $1 million ones. I really only care about why did this reduce? This guy is a fool. He just bumped up the price to 900,000. So good for him. It's okay to dream. So let's look at this 3-2, 850. Guys, remember I'm looking at days on market, 55 days. So it did not move fast. Wasn't super slow, but it didn't move fast. This is a nice house, you know, it's well taken care of. I wouldn't call this a renovated product. I would just call this, and it's a very tiny house. Look at the kitchen, it's kind of tight. These are old Florida homes. It's just the layout, right? Okay, bathrooms are really nice. It's got a pool, right? It's a cute little house. Look, it's small ceilings, right? This looks like an addition for sure. Why? Because the ceiling goes down. That's not up to code. I could just tell. This is another addition. They got a nice little porch, right? It's cool. It's a cute little house. I mean, it looks beautiful at night. They did great with the pictures. So you got 850. And then it drops to 639, 634. Now, what I want to see is where is the 634? So 634 is over here. Now, keep in mind, 634 sold less. And if I had to guess, one of the main reasons why I didn't sell in the 7s is because it's the last street of the neighborhood. There's probably a lot of traffic here. This is a main road and it faces parking lot and all that stuff. So see, this section of the neighborhood changes. This is mixed use, what you would call mixed use in real estate. So that is not something that people are going to pay top dollar for, which is why this guy is out of his skull. Now, as you get further in, you can see that prices go up and people are willing to pay for them. So my front door neighbor over here at 850, that is much more like a comp to us. He's bigger than us and he's got a pool. We don't have a pool. So if I had to set a value on this house, I would say comfortably, ARV, this house would probably sell very quickly at 725. Somewhere around there, maybe 750. But right now, this market is depreciating. Florida's a little tight right now. Things are sitting a little bit longer. So I don't want to be the guy sitting. So to answer the question, we're going to go with if they owe 439, we believe the ARV is 750. The as is, and again, I don't have details on the condition of this home, but the as is probably 600. At least. I assume that it's in pretty decent shape because they got a mortgage not too long ago. So there is equity in this deal. You could probably give this seller. The play that I would do with this deal would be kind of like a novation play. I would get the deed and I would just slap it right back on the MLS, put some money in the seller's hand. I'd probably give the seller 50 grand on the back end. So we're going to be all into it for 590 or 490, let's say. And sell it for 575, something quick in and out, and you still leave some meat on the bone. So yes, this would qualify as a good deal, clearly. And I remember the JV was speaking to the seller, and he was on the fence, and do I want to do it? Do I not want to do it? He fielded offers from everybody. This is one of these sellers that just wasn't ready to make a decision. And look, he got his attorney to file a motion to cancel. So again, I would follow up with this guy in a few weeks. And I bet you're going to start to see this guy start moving. Let's look at 128. This will be the last one we do. 12810 Southwest 18th Street. Can we also look up short sales to work with RF? No, we're not actively doing short sales, and I don't see a world where we're going to do them anytime soon. So I would focus on deals with equity, brother. That's a very nice house. Okay, that makes all the sense in the world. Thank you, Mrs. Carla. I appreciate that. I'm glad that it does. See, I'm at least I'm getting the message across. All right. So let's look up this next one, which is in Miami. Yay. Excuse me. Ooh. Hello, bless you there, huh? Okay. Now, again, guys, first things first. What do we notice? What does it say right here? What does it say right there? Active. Okay, so it's listed with a realtor. Automatically ranks less as a good deal in my book, a good lead. Okay, doesn't mean that we won't do it. Just means that it's more complex and it's a pain in the ass because of realtors. Okay, they've been on the market for 48 days. They're above value. Let's look at the pictures right away. Thank you, Mrs. Carla. Let's do it. Okay, this is why they're not selling, because the house needs a lot of work. Yep. Yeah, this property is being lived in. That's fine. It needs floor. I mean, look. These people are the best, huh? These are my favorite. These people should not be realtors. They shouldn't be a professional in anything. Like, this is the caliber of person that you have listing your house for over $500,000. A lady that pops up in the picture in the mirror. Okay, so this looks like an efficiency to me. Why? Because it has a little kitchenette here. This old floor might be linoleum. I'm not sure. So yeah, I can already see like, okay, this house needs to be renovated. All right, now we're gonna go through. There's a general lien of $42,817 for what? Notice and claim of attorneys charging lien. So an attorney placed a lien on the house of 43 grand. Ooh, there's the divorce. Probably the divorce attorney that hasn't gotten paid. Okay. So there was a divorce. There's a final dissolution of marriage. So the first thing I would need to do, and I would advise somebody who submitted this, is what did the dissolution of marriage say? Meaning, does the husband get the asset? Does the wife get the asset? Who gets what? Who can sign? Who cannot sign? You need to find that out. This is very important because that's legally going to tell you who can sell to you and who can't sell to you. Maybe the wife gets everything and the husband's talking to you and he tells you, yeah, I'll sign, but he doesn't have any authority to sign. You guys feel me? So you got to be very careful with that. There was a foreclosure judgment. There is a sale date of February 9th. So let's just go look it up and let's see what the deal is. We're going to go to Miami-Dade Real Foreclosure. Here we go. Submit the deal. Bam, 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 bam. February 9th. Hello, Will. Is this the Deal Finder app set to be released this week? How can I sign up for the platform? Thank you, sir. Yeah, I believe we're going to release it next week, but if you're not already scheduled to be on our webinar tomorrow, be on the webinar because we're going to be announcing some stuff on there. So this says that it's scheduled for February 9th, okay? So again, same play, guys. I'm going February 9th, and I'm going to look up this address. It's 12810. I'm going to see if I can control F this 12810. Ooh, look at that, guys. We got fancy. Is that the right address? Yes, it is. Okay, so final judgment is 442,119. There are a lot of liens on this house. There's also, and this is very important, guys, estate of Miguel Ramos. So there might need to be a probate done here, okay, because they named them as a defendant. Then you have Junior Padilla. Then you have Gonzalez Fernandez, Aciel, and you have Alex Ramos. These are all defendants. And then you have a bunch of different attorneys. And then, of course, you have Wilmington Savings Funds, which is the bank. In dissolution marriage, doesn't matter if one or both parties are on the loan. It doesn't matter. The dissolution of marriage is going to tell you who can sell and who can't, period. So let's go look at the street view of this and let's see what it looks like from the outside. Why do I say this, guys? Because Virtual Driving for Dollars is one of our best lead sources. Okay, you can see that the house, it's a little bit of an older image, but the house does look like it needs some work, right? It definitely does. Now, I wouldn't say it's terrible, but you got some cars parked on the side with a hole in the window. You got a ladder on the side. You got this efficiency thing on the side. I mean, there's a lot. The roof looks old. I could just tell you right there. The driveway's not painted. I actually like this house over here. This looks like shit. Okay, so 442. Let's go look at the comps. We got our subject is a 3.2, 1,849 square feet. So, here's the first one, 470 active. Okay. Circle south. Hold on. So you got a 3.2, 1,850 square feet. Well, here's one. Not sold. You have a 4.2.5. This is not a comp. It's tough. There's not a lot of comps here. This was a steal for somebody. Somebody got a rip over here at 135. Good for them. See, guys, people doing big deals all the time. Somebody bought this worth 800. They bought it for 135. God bless them. Sold. All right. So again, a little tight on the comps. Let's run them over here as well. We're just going to see if it's worth the equity or not. Period. I don't think it is based on what I'm seeing. And I'll tell you why. Again, guys, this is on a major road. This is definitely going to hurt your value for sure. So you cannot match this comp with other comps in here. Okay. 829 over here, 750 over here. I see this mistake all the time. People, this is our subject. People will say, oh, well, you got an active at 829 and an active at 750 and you got some closings over here in the million. Guys, that is nowhere near your property. 1, 2, your property's on a major road. That's obsolescence. So be very careful and account for that. You got to factor that in. This is a really tough comp to run. What I see in this neighborhood is that things don't sell a lot, which is a good thing because people typically stay here. They want to be here. I actually know this area. But there's actives and they're too expensive, okay? It's hard because there's no closed sale, but I would say that this house as a 4.3, which ours is a 4.3, this is not a good comp. This is not an active comp. This house is going to go, and again, I'm just taking my best guess here based on the information I have. Let me actually do something before I do that. Let's go back a little further. Yes, you should only run comps 6 months back, but I'm going to go try and see if I can find a closed sale. Plus that active is on the channel. Yeah. Let's see what happens here. Nothing. I got nothing closed. Basically, this is the same neighborhood. The only closed sale that I have is a 3.2 at 580. Again, looks very original. This is a 3.2. It's tiny. So, yeah, that's why I said I think it'll probably go for 650 because this guy went for 580. He was smaller, right? But it's in the same neighborhood. If you notice, you just got to pay attention. But if you notice, we're over here, right? This road leads. These are all the same houses, the same neighborhood, except that we are on a major road. There's no closed sales in the last 300 days here, right? So I would say this is 650. Again, you have a final judgment of 442. They're trying to get 580. So I would probably offer them at max. I'd put like 30 grand in this lady's pocket on the back end, and I'd slap it on the MLS for 499. Yeah. Yeah, I would actually put like 20 grand in her pocket and slap it for 499. Probably get more, by the way. That's what I'm banking on. I'm banking on these comps, and I'm gonna bank on the fact that I could probably get like 520. But yeah, not a good deal. Too tight. Doesn't wanna move off of that shit because they're gonna go to auction any day now. Let's see what the seller is losing the property in less than a month. It seems it will be tough for anyone to get financing unless you have a private lender. Maybe offer for $700 so you can walk away with something. Okay, so we can grab the deed when I'm told this is a go and the attorney speak. This is a very messy title deal. Probate is done though. Yeah, again, unless they're willing to walk away with close to nothing, I wouldn't do it. Small leak in the roof. Property is checked by the state of Florida for assisted living care and it passes. So there that. I don't know what that means. But yeah, so it's going to need a roof. So you cannot sell this to a finance buyer. So the only option, which is probably why she hasn't sold, by the way. She's been on the market for 48 days. The fact that it's listed is a deal killer. What is her real need to do an RF? She can just lower the price on the MLS. Exactly. Sometimes, though, these realtors are not the best and the sellers are not the best. And if there's a time constraint, you can work with a realtor. It's not my favorite, by the way. I don't like it. But you can work with a realtor, and we've gotten sellers to accept a massively discounted price. And we, not saying the MLS doesn't have deals and it doesn't work sometimes, because it does. But I ranked them a lot less in my scenario. So guys, as always, it's been an absolute pleasure. I appreciate it. If you have a deal, always post them. That code right there, that barcode, the QR code, will allow you to submit a deal. You have the number as well to call in. And guys, bring your deals. I will review them live. We are going through this live daily, reviewing all these deals, and I enjoy it very much. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. This is a big one too. I'll see you guys later.